Good evening, folks. Blitzball Champ is back. Brand new video here on the U to the Tube. New webcam as well. So, just finished watching Wrestlemania 37 Night 2. Yep, we're gonna talk about it. Yeah, we're gonna talk about it. So, thankfully, this time there wasn't a weather delay like there was in night one. So, at least that's a good thing. They were able to start on time. Of course, starting out, the hosts Titus O'Neil and Hulk Hogan came out in pirate gear and Buccaneer gear. I mean, after all, they were in Raymond James Stadium, so thought that was kind of neat. But yeah, they came out in pirate gear, and the first match ended up being Randy Orton versus the Fiend, which I was kind of surprised that was the first match for night two. I was kind of thinking that would be more in the middle, but this kicked off night two. Um, Alexa Bliss came down. There was a big, gigantic Jack in the Box, and of course she wound it up and wound it up, and then that was how the Fiend actually made his entrance. Coming from out of the Jack in the Box, and of course ending up diving from the Jack in the Box onto Randy Orton, and that pretty much started off the match. They did the red lighting, of course, for this whole match, which wasn't even a long match to be honest. And sadly, this opening match just was flat out bland and really disappointed. So there was a moment where the Fiend was in control, had laid Randy Orton out, and then Alexa Bliss appears again, pretty much covered in that dark black tar looking substance. Looked like she had like a crown of thorns or something like that, and was just covered with the black tar, just staring at the Fiend, and it was like the Fiend was just mesmerized the entire time looking at Alexa Bliss. And then after some a moment or two of that, Randy Orton hits the RKO just like that and gets the 1, 2, 3 and defeats the Fiend just like that. Like I said, wasn't a long match at all. One RKO did the deed, and then after the match, there the Fiend still staring at Alexa Bliss, and then bam, the lights go off, and they both disappear. Just like that. And that's your opening match. Randy Orton getting the victory over the Fiend. And with that, already night two is starting to look like blah compared to night one. And that was the first match. Yeah. Oh, man. The second match was the Women's Tag Team Championship, where Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler defended the titles against Tamina and Natalia, who won yesterday's tag team turmoil match to become the number one contenders. Um, I mean, this match went, I guess, normally how a typical women's tag team match involving Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler would typically go. Um, there was a moment where Natalia had Nia Jax and the sharpshooter, And this was after Tamina had missed a Superfly splash, but Nia Jax was hooked in the sharpshooter. But then here comes Shayna Baszler, who was able to get the Kirifuda clutch because apparently Shayna had tagged in. Natalia didn't realize that Shayna was the legal woman and made her pass out to the Kirifuda clutch. And Nia and Shayna retain the women's tag titles. I mean, it was it was an okay match, I guess. It wasn't really anything special, if you ask me. I wouldn't say it was anything special. They had a little face to face moment with Nia Jackson, Tamina. Of course, they got history. You know how that is. But honestly, not really anything special. I did notice though that no Reginald. Thought that was kind of interesting. No Reginald, or maybe I missed him or something, but no Reginald. I was really surprised. So, but they didn't need him. So hey, I guess all is well ended well. Next up, they had Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn. Of course, Logan Paul supposedly came out, was in Sami Zayn's corner, I guess you could say. Um, and I was just happy to see these two duke it out. It was a decent match. I really hate how they teased the package pile driver, but of course Kevin Owens didn't end up hitting Sami Zayn with the package power driver. But they teased it. They did tease it, but I really wanted him to use that so badly. I did think it was kind of interesting that he opened up the match instantly with a pop up power bomb. Of course, Sami Zayn rolled out, but still, just you know, bell rings, instant signature. But but ultimately, Kevin Owens did get the victory, defeated Sami Zayn, and of course, Sami Zayn and I guess Logan Paul pretty much tried to comfort him, but then Sami Zayn was getting upset with Logan Paul. Then pretty much Logan Paul took a shot at Sami Zayn, and yeah, it was just really, really, really funny at the end. And of course, Logan Paul, wants to think he gets to celebrate with Kevin Owens. Raised his hand and everything, and I was just thinking in my mind, I'm like, please give him a stunner, please give him a stunner, please give him a stunner, please give him a stunner. And sure enough, Kevin Owens gave Logan Paul a stunner, and he sold it pretty well, actually. Actually sold it pretty well. But and Kevin Owens' family was in attendance as well. His wife and kids were there, so thought that was pretty cool. But it doesn't live up to what a typically good Kevin Owens Sami Zayn match usually is. Of course, going back to their ROH days, where it was Kevin Steen versus El Generico, whether they went up against each other or they tagged or they teamed up. But still, I mean, I like both of these guys. Even though I don't like Sami Zayn's character, I do like both of them as wrestlers, and they are great. And this was a decent match. This was a decent match. Um, and that was really when night two, started to pick up just a little bit because so far at that point it was still kind of bleh, but started to pick up just a little bit with that match. So I was okay uh, with that, and the finish. So, but it's not anything crazy special. I just would have loved to see Kevin Owens actually use and hit the package pile driver since it was teased. Um, Next up, we had the United States Championship match where Matt Riddle defended against Sheamus. Um, This was actually a pretty good match. I didn't mind this at all. It wasn't really a match I was hyped for, considering we saw this match before, and I wasn't super hyped about it. But you know what? It did pretty well. There was a botch on the Avalanche white noise attempt, so Sheamus had to kind of improvise, hitting a regular white noise and then hitting a top rope knee drop. So I mean that was good improvisation, to kind of recover from that botch. So that was pretty good. That was pretty good. I can't really complain about that. But seeing Matt Riddle do suicide dives and like springboard moonsaults and stuff like that with bare feet just always make me just kind of cringe a little bit, because you, with bare feet it's already bad enough, but just you land the wrong way, like on your that just, like, I always think about that whenever he does that, because he wrestles barefooted. It's just it's scary. It's kind of a scary sight for me. But I mean, Matt Riddle does this all the time, so I mean, he knows what he's doing. So, um, but what a finish! What a finish! Matt Riddle going to do a springboard moonsault, and Sheamus catches him mid-air with a brogue kick. That was a sick spot. Sick spot. Gets the 1, 2, 3, and Sheamus is your new United States champion, which I believe now makes him a three-time United States champion. So big win for Sheamus at WrestleMania, and like I said, that finish was awesome. That was a sick spot on the brogue kick in the middle of a springboard moonsault. That was sick, and he caught him good. Riddle got kind of busted open a little bit, but man, Sheamus caught him good, caught him real good with that brogue kick. So definitely, like the finish, crazy spot, but overall it was a pretty good match. Definitely at that point was one of the better matches at that point of night two. So I can't be upset with that. I would have liked to see Matt Riddle have a little bit longer of a title reign, but you know what? I can't be upset at the outcome. And with the way that the match went and just the spots, I can't be too mad. I can't be too mad. Like I said, the white noise, the Avalanche white noise botch was a little bad, but good recovery, good improvisation from Sheamus to recover from that. So I can dig that, because you have to remember, botches sometimes happen. It's unfortunate, but they sometimes happen. And when you can bounce back from them and recover, like think quick and recover, it's all good. It's all good. It can be forgivable. So because accidents happen. Unfortunately, accidents happen. So good recovery, good match, good finish. Sheamus is your new United States champion. Good stuff. Good stuff. Um, and then next up, just going through my notes. Okay, we had the Intercontinental Championship match next, which is a Nigerian drum match, which Biggie, Intercontinental Champion, wrestling in his hometown, which he got a live performance for his entrance theme, going up against the challenger Apollo Cruz. Um, Definitely good to see these two go at it again on the big stage, but I was still kind of eh, only because I'm happy they got to do this on the big stage, but because we've seen this match so many times, it's just like, but doing the whole Nigerian drum fight sort of thing, which is pretty much no disqualification, no holds bar. There's weapons, in the form of drums, tables, kendo sticks, a gong, even. But, they went at it trading kendo stick shots. The gong was used. Um, Six spot. on the Uranagi to Apollo Crews on the steel steps. Ugh, that made me just cringe like crazy. That was a sick spot. That Uranagi, wow. Um, and then when it was all said and done, Biggie hit the big ending, and then out of nowhere, enters Babatunde, aka Dabakato, which of course the last time we saw him was back when Raw Underground was a thing still, and he pretty much helped Apollo Crews get the 1, 2, 3, and Apollo Crews is your new Intercontinental Champion. So wow, Dabakato has aligned himself with Apollo Crews, and henceforth the hometown curse strikes Biggie. Oh well. So that means pretty much the New Day no longer have titles. Kofi and Xavier lost the Raw tag titles last night. Biggie loses the Intercontinental title tonight. So, 4 week for the New Day. But Apollo Crews is your new Intercontinental Champion. So really, Apollo Crews has established himself with a few mid card titles now. Because now he's Intercontinental Champion. He's been United States Champion before. So they may have him kind of run strong as a mid carder for a while. He's really been established. And like I said, I like Apollo Crews. I've liked him ever since back when he was with Dragon Gate, when he was Uha Nation. And I even enjoyed the stuff he did in NXT as well. So, I hope they continue to build him up. And I like what they're doing. And yeah, I just wish him the best. And we'll see how good of a Intercontinental Championship run that he has. But Apollo Crews, your new champ. And then next up, well, there was a segment with Bailey and the Bella Twins. Well, I don't even know why I'm even mentioning that. Why am I even mentioning that? Bump that. No. I mean, if anything, at least during this weekend, we did get to see Bailey quite a bit. So even though she didn't have a wrestling match, but yeah. And they did go over the Hall of Fame class of 2021, so that was really cool. The Raw Women's Championship match. Asuka defending against Rhea Ripley. I'm gonna just go ahead and just let it out. This match royally pissed me off. Throughout the match, Asuka had the most offense. I'm not saying that Rhea didn't have any good offense, but it was clear that Asuka had the most offense in this whole match. With the strikes, the submission attempts, even hitting an implant DDT from the apron. An implant impaler DDT from the apron onto Rhea. And what about that finish from Rhea? Yes, reverse the Asuka lock, got a pin attempt. And then as Asuka goes in for I guess another hip attack or another running kick, she catches her immediate riptide, immediate 1, 2, 3 pin. Really? Really. And Rhea Ripley, with only her second match since coming to the main roster, which her first match was a tag team match against her opponent, or with her tagging with her opponent Asuka going against Nia and Shayna, which Rhea helped cause her team to lose. And her second match is on WrestleMania, which ended up being her first singles match coming to the main roster, and she wins the Raw Women's Championship. And y'all are honestly okay with that. There are people honestly okay with that. You have very little build up to this showdown. You had all those graphics with Rhea coming soon to Raw, coming soon to Raw. And then she just shows up and just challenges for the Raw Women's title. I mean, no matches prior or before or none of that. And you just put the title on her. Now, might as well, anybody can just up and ask for a title match now, if that's the case. Huh. Maybe Io Shirai should just show up and ask for a title match. You know? Maybe Dakota Kai should just randomly show up and ask for a title match. Shoot. Raquel Gonzalez, show up, ask for a title match, become a double champion. Why not? This is terrible booking. And now Asuka is 0-4 when it comes to WrestleMania. I guess you could say technically 0-3, but the fourth being that she was snubbed out of a WrestleMania due to having to drop the SmackDown Women's title to Charlotte to set up that triple threat with her, Ronda, and Becky Lynch. Once again, Asuka done dirty on the grandest stage of them all, of WrestleMania. The one thing missing, literally the one thing missing. Now, I know people are going to want to say, well, Sasha Banks hasn't won at WrestleMania, so what's the difference? There's a big difference. Think about it. There's a big difference. Asuka has won Money in the Bank, is a Grand Slam champion, is a Royal Rumble winner, is a sole survivor at Survivor Series. Sasha hasn't won a Royal Rumble. Sasha hasn't been a sole survivor of Survivor Series. I mean, literally, that was all Asuka needed. That was literally all she needed. And she could have pretty much been done with WWE. Anything else that happened to her, I would have been fine with. Because she's already pretty much gotten the one thing that has eluded her her entire time here. And once again, Asuka is done dirty. At somebody that had been working hard and just her title run, just badly booked title run. And then the match itself, it really wasn't that much different from her taking her first loss against Charlotte at WrestleMania. A lot of offense, a lot of submission attempts, and then as soon as one figure eight was locked on her, almost instant tap out. All that offense against Rhea gets hit with one riptide. out of nowhere and a quick 1, 2, 3, done. I know there are plenty of Rhea Ripley fans, and I like Rhea Ripley. I have nothing against Rhea Ripley at all. I have nothing against Rhea Ripley. But let's face facts. Asuka was done dirty once again on the grandest stage of them all, just like the first time she was on WrestleMania. She has been done dirty. And not to mention, she is winless at WrestleMania and has been snubbed out of a WrestleMania. And you have someone that just comes to the main roster, has one match that isn't even a singles match to start, doesn't even win it. Second match is on WrestleMania, her first singles coming to the main roster, and she wins the title just like that. And folks out there are really okay with that. Really. Whatever. I mean, shoot, they might as well have some sort of angle set up in the future where they have Asuka versus Sasha Banks at WrestleMania, and see who finally breaks the losing streak and finally wins at WrestleMania for the first time. Asuka's 0-4, Sasha's 0-6 now. And just like that, all the previous women's champions, Io Shirai, Sasha Banks, Asuka, all dethroned. All dethroned. Now they'll probably do something like bring Io on the main roster and put her in a tag team with Asuka. Oh, that kind of reminds me of something. I don't know, the Kabuki Warriors. Well, I mean, this would be like a Triple Tails reunion, but still. Yeah, that one that literally like set me off. That literally set me off. And then the main event was the WWE Championship match. Triple threat. Roman Reigns defending against, or excuse me, Universal Championship match. Roman Reigns defending the Universal title against Edge, Royal Rumble winner, and Daniel Bryan. Of course, the action started off pretty fast paced, and just you really got to see all three shine with these matches. Oh, and I failed to also point out that Rhea Ripley had a live performance for her theme as well, but yeah, whatever. That whole thing rubbed me the wrong way. Anyway, back to the main event. Of course, we had Jay Uso there as well as Paul Heyman to start off, but it would show that eventually Jay Uso would get taken out for now by eating a educator, or used to be known as a implant DDT, onto the steel stairs, and pretty much he was out of commission for pretty much most of the match. We got to see chairs used, steel steps used, because I mean now by default a triple threat is a no DQ, so that stuff is allowed. We even got a spot where Roman Reigns and Edge both went for a spear at the same time and pretty much had a midair collision, which I figured was going to eventually happen. It was only a matter of time before that was going to happen. But yeah, so it was kind of funny. It was actually kind of funny. But and of course Daniel Bryan, got in a lot of his strikes, a lot of his high flying, ate a power bomb through the announce table. Um But yeah, the action, it was pretty intense, which, was expected. There was a point where even Edge hooked in a crossface on Roman Reigns and even got a piece of the chair, like one of the bars of the chair, and had it up against Roman Reigns' mouth during that crossface, and then entered Daniel Bryan to get the other arm trapped and get part of the yes lock in. So pretty much a double submission on Roman Reigns, which he came very close to tapping out, but Daniel Bryan stopped his hand. And Edge and Daniel Bryan were fighting each other off with headbutts to try to, break each other's submission. But there was a point where Edge laid out both Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan with spears and had the chance to hit double concertos on both of them. He got one on Daniel Bryan, and as he was getting ready to do one on Roman Reigns, here comes Jey Uso once again to the rescue to interfere and to stop that from happening. Of course, he ends up eating a spear for his troubles. But then, eventually, Roman Reigns gets himself back up, gives Edge a spear, and pretty much when it was all said and done, Roman Reigns covers both Edge and Daniel Bryan for the 1-2-3 and retains the Universal Championship. Oh, man. Well, I'll just say this. Realistically, Roman Reigns better not ever bully Jey Uso again. At all. As many times as Jey Uso saved his butt in matches where the title's on the line, shoot, he better not ever bully him. I still wonder when Jimmy Uso's gonna get cleared though. So both Usos can be back and aligned with the tribal chief. I was even talking to some friends, and some were thinking maybe Jey Uso might eventually turn on Roman Reigns when it matters the most, and who knows how big of an impact that will be. But we'll see. We'll see. But oh man. Night two, I mean, some of the later matches were, yeah, it started to pick up a little bit, but I'd have to say overall night one was better. Night one was definitely better. Despite the weather delay, I have to say night one was better. Was definitely better. But WrestleMania is now in the books. So now it's time for a new season with WWE. And there was a lot of disappointed fans because I think a lot of us were hoping for a Becky Lynch return or a sighting or of some sort. It kind of made, a few of her tweets kind of made it seem like she was going to make an appearance at WrestleMania, whether it was night one or night two. Some were even thinking maybe her showing up after the outcome of the Raw Women's Championship match and just being like, and honestly, that's another reason why I would have wanted Asuka to retain so that Becky Lynch could appear and be like, hey, I've seen you still been the champion this whole time, but you have something that I never lost. You have something that I handed over to you, and I want it back. And that could have been how you could dethrone Asuka then, after WrestleMania. Like, why is that so hard? Why is that so hard that she can't have the one thing that's eluded her? The one thing that's missing in her WWE career. It just baffles me. It really baffles me. Anyway, what do y'all think? What y'all think of WrestleMania Night 2? What y'all think of WrestleMania as a whole? I mean, overall, it was good to have fans back. You know, definitely taking another step to hopefully, eventually, in the long run, get back to having fans in the shows more permanently. It'll probably take a while though, because I'm pretty sure they're gonna use the Thunderdome until it's a lot closer to being much safer. But only time will tell. Only time will tell. But WrestleMania 37 in the books. It didn't turn out to be as worse as I thought it would be, but that's not saying a whole lot. But what y'all think? What y'all think of WrestleMania 37 Night 2, or just as a whole? If you want to say as a whole, what'd you think about the title changes? Um, yeah, like, comment, subscribe, click the notification bell so you don't miss a video. Thank you so much for watching. This is Blitzball Champ Jason Ingram signing off. Hope everybody has a blessed week, and I will see y'all soon. Good night, everybody.